Take a bow, son. I mean that. Take a bow.
Oh, Ben Watson! Go, USA!
Aguero!
The USA! What about that? It's John Brooks! It's John Brooks!
The goal from Pedro! I swear you'll never see anything like this ever again!
You could not write a script like this!
You're listening to EPL from LFK for week 26 of the English Premier League, presented by the Playmakers and brought to you by your host Sean Goodwin. On today's show, the League Cup final, our usual look at two of the past week's games, Claudio Ranieri's sacking, what makes Chelsea so dominant, how much can an offside player interfere without being called offside, goal of the week, 3 stars and 3 moons, European competition roundup, this week in history, and week 27 predictions. Thank you for tuning into this week of EPL from LFK and enjoy the show. I'm joined today by a good friend of mine, Andrew Blaylock from Drake University. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Andrew.
Hey Sean, thanks for having me on the show. I go to school in Des Moines, Iowa, Drake University. I'm also the goalkeeper here. I've been playing soccer for about 14 years, so I guess that'd be my claim to fame.
Mm-hmm. Pretty impressive. It's about the same time I've been playing, actually, 5-6 years old.
Yeah.
Anyways, it'll be good to have you on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Mm-hmm. So, moving on to our first topic, we'll start with the League Cup final. Before we jump into our Premier League stuff, it was actually on Sunday. Manchester United Southampton. Now, before the game started, were you predicting Manchester United win, Andrew?
Yeah, just because they're the bigger team and you kind of always expect them to win. And given the kind of players they have, Ibra and Pogba, you definitely would expect them to win.
Yeah. And of course, there's man of the moment, Ibrahimovic, coming up big as usual. He has his long-range free kick and that 88th minute winner, the header from close range. But, all of the interest and all of the focus on Ibrahimovic in his final can't really just, it can't just all go on him. I mean, Jesse Lingard as well, he got a goal himself. And he's making a habit out of this. He scores in last year's FA Cup final, the Community Shield final. He's not a world beater, but, he comes up big when Man U need him. As for the Southampton side, there's Milo Gabbiadini, definitely probably the best signing of January in my opinion. Would you agree with that, Andrew?
Yeah, I believe he's scored in 3 goals in 2 games or something like that already. So
yeah, he's got 5 goals in the last 3 games now, and it should be 6, but we'll go into that in a second. So he scored both of Southampton's goals. And it really should have been a hat-trick. And it actually leads into one of our hot topics we have today, which may have sounded confusing in the intro. How much can an offside player interfere without being called offside? So Andrew, being a goalkeeper, how do you view this from your point of view?
Well, the cross comes in and the player that's offside is Bertrand. But he doesn't interfere with the play at all. He's a couple yards away from De Gea. He's not in his line of sight. De Gea doesn't have to... sometimes the argument is that the player interferes, so the goalkeeper has to wait a couple seconds before reacting in case the player gets a touch, and that's just not the case here. Bertrand's not interfering at all, so I don't believe it should be called offside.
Yeah, I agree with that statement. I feel offside, when people say interfere with play, going off, I guess, kind of hockey, if a player purposely, goals disallowed in hockey if the player interferes with the goalkeeper. So, in soccer, if a player interferes with the goalkeeper or another defender, purposely makes a mess up while in an offside position, I believe they should be called. Or if the player purposely obstructs the goalkeeper's line of sight, he can't just stand in front of him. But with this Gabbiadini case, he came from an onside position and Bertrand was behind Gabbiadini. He wasn't affecting the play at all, and the referee calls for offside, or the linesman, which in my opinion was a poor decision. Do you think it was the linesman calling offside for Bertrand, or just a poor decision calling on the wrong player?
I think that the ref sees Bertrand in an offside position, and with the game being so quick, he just sees him in an offside position, and it's almost just reaction to call him offside. So I think it might be more of a reaction than a wrong decision. But another point to look at is that Bertrand never really made an attempt to play the ball, and in order to be offside, according to the rules, a player must make an attempt to play the ball in an offside position. So,
yeah,
just something to look at.
And even if it is, a mistake, I've seen in the past that referees' calls have been overridden. If he's realised his mistake. And Claude Puel, Southampton's manager, actually called for instant replay on decisions such as this. Do you think that should be introduced into the game?
Yeah, it's definitely something to look at. With goal line technology being implemented, we're already seeing that technology has been being implemented into the game.
Yeah.
My kind of argument against it is that it kind of takes away from the aspect of that sometimes referees do make mistakes, and that sometimes teams lose when they shouldn't, and that kind of takes away from the excitement and the drama sometimes.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I actually wrote a column earlier this year for the University Daily Kanzing about the same topic, about how technology should stay out of the game, so I do agree with that. Going on to the actual Premier League games, first where we head to Merseyside, my hometown, Liverpool. It's actually for Everton versus Sunderland now. Last week, I did predict this would be a 1-0 win for Everton, with Moyes heading to his old home. He was at Everton for a long time, and just with this Sunderland side trying to make it as least embarrassing as possible. I was close. Everton ends up winning 2-0, which unfortunately, if you remember from last week's episode with Andrew, I could have got a monster energy, but no, Everton won 2-0, which was the bet, so no monster for me. But on to the actual game. Moyes actually said afterwards he wanted to frustrate the crowd. Do you think he did that watching the game?
No, I don't, because Sunderland looked like they were switched off on defense. If you look at the first goal, it actually comes because the fullback is up the flank and Barini gets caught. The ball goes out wide to Coleman, and they're able to score because of it. So, and even the second goal, it's Lukaku 1v1, and when that happens, more often than not, he's going to score. So.
Yeah,
I don't think they frustrated him, honestly.
No, and you see, my problem with Sunderland is they don't seem to have a game plan, how to break teams down. You've seen this with Hull and Swansea. They had poor stocks this season, and they figured out, it may not be pretty, but he figured out how to beat teams and break them down, score those goals. And I'm watching Sunderland, and what are they doing? Do you play it out wide, down the middle? And all of their success is really on Jermaine Defoe. Part of the reason why he's in my fantasy team. And if he doesn't score, or if he's not providing goals, then Sunderland's are screwed.
Yeah, if you look at the game, they were on the back foot from, I think it was the 3rd minute, when the goalkeeper kind of fumbled the ball a little bit and they almost got in, but they were having chances from the get-go, Everton were.
Yeah.
So Sunderland didn't look too good.
Yeah, on the Everton side, from my point of view, I'm going to save it to a little bit later with 3 stars. It's a little spoiler. But do you have anything on Everton's performance, Andrew?
They looked good. they made sure that Sunderland were on the back foot the entire game. Lukaku's obviously a huge threat going forward, so that's a positive they have, and they've been doing well in the past couple of weeks.
Yeah. Well, I'll give my opinion on Everton's performance a little bit later, but I think I will move on to Leicester vs Liverpool. Yeah. I didn't think you mentioned earlier, Andrew, but you're also a Liverpool fan. So we're both feeling his pain, but let me tell you, of course, this is the game. Like Jamie Vardy turns into Luis Suarez and Wes Morgan turns into Paolo Maldini. I mean, don't get me wrong, Liverpool were poor. Klopp's tactics, they didn't work out. They suited Leicester just perfectly. Just like Liverpool's tactics suited beating Tottenham the week before. So, it's overall poor performance from Liverpool, but let me just rant about Leicester real quick. I don't know if you heard the reports about Ranieri's sacking, which will also touch one of our hot topics, but apparently a couple of the players, they went to the board asking for his sacking after Ranieri just took them to a league championship last season. It just screams a bunch of snakes. Indiana Jones wouldn't even touch this team. So many snakes on this team. Andrew, before I blow my lid, how do you feel about the performance?
Leicester's or
just go, yeah, either side.
Well, I mean, Leicester looked like they were playing like it was last season. I mean, Jamie Vardy was very deadly. The first goal, he slips in between two players, very quick, very good finish. On his second goal, he finds the gap in between two defenders off a cross. So, I mean, he looked good. Liverpool, they were bad. Defensively, yeah. I mean, Matip and Lucas being paired at center back, that was a problem from the start. It never should have happened. I don't think Lucas could handle Vardy any day.
Yeah, that was always going to be a disaster, let's be honest. Whether it was under Ranieri or not. Putting Lucas Leiva at centre-back against Jamie Vardy. I don't know what kind of German weed he's got Jurgen Klopp smoking, but that is not a good idea.
Yeah, Lucas he's just not the type of player to deal with, Vardy, who's quick, shifty, and he's just not equipped to handle him.
Yeah, it just frustrates me with this Leicester side, how I said he was snakes. They performed poorly for, months now. They get rid of Ranieri and suddenly they look like how they were playing last year. And, a manager doesn't make that much of a difference to have not scored all season. And then to come out and defeat Liverpool 3-1. And you have to question, where these players giving it all for Claudio Ranieri? And if not, then I just say it looks poor on their part.
I would agree. I mean, you don't go from being 18th and, you're on the verge of relegation to looking like they did last year when they won the Premier League in a matter of days. I mean, that just doesn't happen unless, they have a, change in mindset. And obviously with Ranieri being sacked, that's what it that's the big change that happened.
Yeah, but I mean, these Leicester players have won one game, and suddenly you think the world beats again. I mean, okay, I showed you this earlier. Well, I don't know if you saw it, but Danny Simpson on Twitter. Do you see it earlier?
No.
So Danny Simpson on Twitter, he was tweeting Jamie Carragher, Liverpool legend at defence.
I did see that, yeah, but remind me.
I respect your opinion, and as a defender, I look up to you and what you've achieved. However, I won the league and you haven't. How far is this man's head up his own ass?
I mean, they're in 18th. You can't be talking to a legend like that, even if he hasn't won a Premier League.
He's won a Champions League.
Loads more accomplishments than...
Exactly.
a Leicester player who they had a great season. They had one great season, and so far they're not replicating it. So I don't believe he's in any place to be saying this.
No. I mean, he's honestly, in my opinion, Leicester's weak link. He's a championship caliber player, and honestly, I will not be complaining if he was in the championship next year with Leicester City or not.
Yeah, I mean, they're being exposed for it right now, so it'll be interesting to see what happens going forward.
Yeah, just looking at the vacant Leicester City spot as well. Do you see anybody coming in as manager, replacing current caretaker manager Shakespeare?
No one jumps to mind right away, just because, I mean, it seems like everyone of quality is already in a position. But I do think I don't think they'll find one quickly. It probably will take some time, especially being mid-season. Towards the end of the season, they might just decide to finish it out with an assistant manager or coach. Yeah,
I mean, Craig Shakespeare, the man in charge at the moment, has said he feels ready to take over the reins. But honestly, there's a few guys I can see heading there. I've heard Roy Hodgson being linked after his England dismissal. He'd probably end up on Jamie Vardy on corners, would not surprise me. But I can see somebody like Martin O'Neill. I know he's playing with, I believe it's Celtic right now. Celtic dominating the Scottish League, but I would not be surprised if he came back to England and gave Leicester a crack.
Yeah, I mean, Roy is definitely an accomplished manager, but I feel like his past couple positions, his past couple tasks, being Liverpool being one of them, England being one of them, I don't think they've gone well. So if they were to put him in charge, I don't see how that'd be better than just leaving Ranieri in charge. He won them a Premier League. I definitely could see Martin O'Neill being the next manager.
Yeah. You just reminding me of Roy Hodgson. Sorry, I guess it's a tangent, but if Roy Hodgson goes to Leicester, I feel sorry for him. This is a man who came to Liverpool, sold Javier Mascherano, and then declared Paul Konchesky as his marquee signing. Okay, so I'm not going to rant about Roy Hodgson on releases. So move on. Moving on. Okay. We're going to look at our last hot topic. Actually, we kind of covered our hot topics with our games, which was pretty nice there, actually. So our last one is, what makes Chelsea so lethal?
Well, obviously you have the manager change, Mourinho leaving, and Antonio Conte coming in. Antonio Conte previously being the Juventus manager who got them to the Champions League final, so I mean, that's a big plus. I also think N'Golo Kante, he was on Leicester last season and they won. And I don't know if he has the highest, but he has one of the highest, regain rates, tackle rates in the Premier League. So he's definitely a defensive presence. And one other point maybe to make is that he gives them a defensive peace of mind so they can have more confidence going forward.
Yeah, I mean, I've said in the past with N'Golo Kante, he's being the key for Leicester's downfall, perhaps. I mean, there's a lot more going on. But also Chelsea's revival. But if we look at Chelsea as a whole, it's the speed of attack that really sets them apart from teams like Liverpool and Manchester City, who score a lot of goals. Which it did show well against Swansea this week, who've had a very solid setup against the big teams. You've defeated Liverpool recently, and you've had a couple of good results too. And a player who I'm not going to say underrated because he's certainly not, but a main component of this is Cesc Fabregas, and he plays into this speed of attack. He can ping a ball directly to feet, right over the midfield and defence, straight to a player's feet. It's a beauty to behold. And then when you've got players like Pedro and Hazard who we can change the speed of the game like that. It's just, you can't stop him. And obviously Diego Costa up front, terrifying guy but great player.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Mourinho's tactics last season, at least, I don't think that it suited the kind of talents they had. It was almost like get a goal and pack it in and try to win 1-0. When the type of players they have, they should they'd be better suited to just keep the pressure on. And I think the change of management has kind of given them more freedom, and they're kind of more like that this season.
I mean, you're talking about Antonio Conte, who won however many straight Serie A titles with Juventus, playing the same kind of game, a high intensity. That's one other thing, just a high intensity of Chelsea. You're watching them, and there's always 2 or 3 players closing down the ball, closing up space, and it's really hard to do anything against them. Anyways, we'll move on. Goal of the week. Man, there was a few good goals this week, let me tell you. Andrew, I'm going to let you go first. I believe my number 1 goal is also yours, so if you want to take the reins.
Yeah, well, my goal of the week is by Idrissa Gueye. It's definitely not a goal that's spectacular. It's not a volley or anything, but it's just all the components that led up to the goal.
Yeah.
For me, it's a goal straight off the training ground. It's something that looks rehearsed and practiced. I know it's something that we work on here at Drake. Davies plays a great ball from his own half. He spots Coleman out wide, get down the flank. Coleman's touch is inch perfect. It's forward. It lets him pick up his head to spot players. Guy's making a perfect run, honestly. He's not, a lot of guys get excited and they try to get in, get on a header or anything, but he kind of waits outside the box, waits for the ball to come in. Coleman picks his head up, picks him out, and he does well to sneak in. I think it went to the top corner, but he does well to get in there. He could have easily smashed it over, but it's well done.
That was some beautiful analysis right there, and I was wrong because that was not even in my top 3. So I say top 3. I'm going to give some honourable mentions. I know we'll get given crap if we don't mention Danny Drinkwater's volley against Liverpool. It was Drinkwater, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, I quit watching after that, to be honest. I had to watch highlights afterwards. I was done. But it was beautiful volley coming towards him. Shot it through a crowd outside of the foot. Mignolet didn't even dive. So that was a nice goal, don't get me wrong. I also had an honourable mention for Gylfi. Sorry, it was Fernando Llorente for Swansea against Chelsea. And I'm not giving it, it was a nice header, but I'm going to give it because of Gylfi Sigurdsson's free kick. It was stroke at half time, foul is given, it's in a centre circle. And Sigurdsson's centre, it looks like it's going just straight into the box, but it takes a leftwards curl, and Fernando Llorente runs onto it completely unmarked and sends a header from 10 yards out into the top corner. So it was a beautiful ball. That's why I'm giving it an honourable mention. But my number 1 is actually Harry Kane. Scored 3 goals this weekend, so he has a good chance of nicking goal of the week. It's actually for his 2nd goal. It was against Stoke City. If I remember it correctly, it was a corner for Tottenham, which didn't go to plan. Ball sent back out, and the ball's played back across the edge of the box, and Harry Kane, of course, is there. And he strikes this ball sweetly coming across his body, which is a very hard thing to do. Being a forward myself, I know. And he times it perfectly, straight into the bottom left corner. And the goalkeeper tried for it. It's just a perfect strike. It's something only Harry Kane is able to do, I guess. He's a great player, so he's one of the best strikers in the world, in my opinion. So yeah, that's my goal of the week anyway. Pretty long-winded, but here we are. So we'll move on to our 3 stars. So we debated on this together as usual. And coming in number 3 for the stars is actually your goal scorer, or goal of the week, Andrew, Idrissa Gana Gueye. Basically, this is going back to my Everton recapping for this game against Sunderland. And Koeman is building this dynamic centre-mid trio of young players, Idrissa Gana Gueye, Tom Davies, Morgan Schneiderlin. And he seems to be working perfectly well together. It's like a fine-oiled machine. But Gueye in particular this game, he was winning every tackle. He was always in the right position for that goal. It was his hustle which led to Lukaku's goal in the 88th minute. I just want to say Lukaku's goal was actually his 60th in the Premier League. That tied him with Duncan Ferguson, who's Everton's Premier League top goal scorer. Bearing in mind, that's not all time, since 1990 Premier League's inception. The actual record belongs to Dixie Dean years ago. But back to Gueye. Like I said, he was really the cog which made everything turn in this midfield. How do you feel about his performance, Andrew, apart from just the goal?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see any extended highlights. The main thing I did see was the goal, but other than that, I'd just say he looked lively. Like, as you said, he won the ball that led to the second goal. He was tackling. I mean, you can't ask for much more than that. A midfielder that is working the whole game.
Yeah, okay. Coming in number 2, despite my anger at Leicester right now, it's going to go to Jamie Vardy. He did score 2 goals against Liverpool. Once again, he was showing his killer instinct with that pacing positioning he showed so well last season. He finally decided it's time to perform. And as we mentioned earlier, pairing Lucas at the back with Vardy was never a smart idea. But, he used that pace to get through and score the first goal, the second goal. He was in the right place. Nice placed header into the far corner. Nothing you can do to stop him, really. And going on to number 1, we have Harry Kane. He got his hat-trick. That is I believe, it's his 3rd hat-trick in the last 9 games or something ridiculous. First goal was a beautiful first touching shot. The second goal I described above. And the third goal was a bit lucky. It was deflected off a free kick. But all of his goals in the first half. In the second half, he got the assist for Dele Alli's goal, with Tottenham eventually winning 4-0. What do you think of his performance?
I mean, he's just deadly at the moment. He just can't seem to miss, honestly. As you said, 3 hat-tricks in, 9 games or something like that?
Yeah, I read it somewhere, something ridiculous like that.
Yeah, that's just, especially the level he's playing at in the Premier League, it's just pretty unreal.
Yeah, that's why I believe he truly is. At such a young age as well. One of the best forwards in the league. I mean, I don't believe he's at Aguero's level, yes, when Aguero was in his peak for Man City. But, he's getting there, he's catching up, don't get me wrong. Now we'll move on to our 3 moons. We actually had trouble. It wasn't a bad performance this week by players all around, so I'm going to give number 3 to Robert Snodgrass. We have a friend who's a big Snodgrass fan, so sorry about that, Matt. Who will hopefully be on next week, we'll see. But yeah, Snodgrass. It wasn't the best day at the office for him. He wasn't poor, but West Ham did draw 1-1 with Watford, and he had 2 very good chances Both times he was just a bit too slow. And closing one, which the ball bounced to him 6 yards out, open goal, and he just didn't react fast enough and was tackled. And he was eventually subbed off after 72 minutes. Coming in with number 2, Ashley Barnes. Red card. You saw the red card, Andrew. You said it was stupid.
He just backs into the player and he's already on a yellow, and it's towards the end of the game, and it's just silly.
I don't know if you saw up close. And in my opinion, both yellow cards were stupid. The first one, it was for dissent, as it's called. He was arguing with the referee over an obvious penalty decision. And that one, where you said he backed into him, if you watch up close, he actually sees the whole defender. It was Andrea Ranocchia. He sees him coming, and he elbows him in the face. If he did it on purpose or not, hopefully not. But like you said, it was just a stupid decision in injury time. So it wasn't really needed.
I mean, if anything, why are you doing that?
Mm-hmm.
Now you're out for the next game, and
yeah.
I mean, they could look at it. I mean, if you said that he elbowed him in the face, maybe he's having a couple more games suspended. So
yeah. And coming in number 1, Arthur Burch, Bournemouth goalkeeper. Did you see both goals he conceded, Andrew? Yeah. I'm sure you know what goal I'm talking about with the calling a kick. Being a goalkeeper yourself, how did you see that from your point of view?
I mean, so it's a corner and it comes in, but the ball isn't struck with a whole lot of pace. I'd say, if anything, which is actually an important detail, that the ball has some spin on it, and he comes out and tries to punch it one-handed with his left hand, and after looking at it a couple times, his hand kind of skims under the ball instead of going through it.
Yeah,
so the ball kind of stalls, and then it's tapped in. My criticism is, why are you not going with 2 hands, especially, there's spin on the ball, there's a lot of traffic, just go 2 hands, be safe.
Yeah, he completely mistimed it, and like you said, there wasn't much pace, it was more floated in. There was spin on the ball, but he completely missed it.
Yeah, it was a whiff. I mean, that's how you would describe it. And, most weeks, he's a great goalkeeper, so I don't know.
Yeah, just poor moments. Bournemouth ended up losing that game 2-1, so very big mistake on his part. So yeah, he deserves number 1. We're getting to the end. We have our European competition roundup. Now that Champions League and Europa League are back, I'll be doing this when European competition's played. So hopefully next week, we'll see. It depends on when games are played. So starting off with Champions League. This is kind of old news. It was last week, I believe. Arsenal got destroyed by Bayern Munich 5-1. I didn't see the highlights of this game, but once again, Arsenal face Bayern round of 16. Once again, they're heading out.
Yeah, how many times have we heard that storyline? Arsenal 4th place, Arsenal round of 16, getting out.
To Bayern Munich. Yeah. It's been like 4 times in the past 5 seasons now, or something ridiculous.
It was Barcelona for 3 seasons.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta feel sorry for Arsenal, but after this many times, you'd hope we maybe figure out how to stop buying.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, a bad draw, Barcelona, Bayern Munich.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you would think that one of the times they could maybe, nick something and get through.
Yeah. But alas, I guess not. Arsene Wenger, as we spoke about last week, perhaps heading on his way out this summer, but we'll see. Manchester City also played in a 5-3 thriller at the Etihad Stadium. Not there weren't many people there to watch it as usual. I'm kidding, joking. I'm joking. Yeah, it was against Monaco. Yeah, it was a great game, back and forth, some wonderful goals. Radamel Falcao, former Manchester United man. He left Manchester United, headed to Monaco. Actually, I think he headed somewhere else before Monaco. But, you know, funny thing is, he's got back in Champions League and scored before Manchester United have managed to. Yeah, but yeah, that is looking to be a very exciting second leg in France.
Yeah, and we'll see what Man City can do. You know, my big worry for them is actually in the goalkeeping position. Claudio Bravo does not all this season, and Joe Hart's obviously on loan. So
yeah, I don't know if you saw Claudio Bravo today. It was actually a FA Cup replay today against, I think it was Huddersfield. Maybe wrong about that, don't quote me. Huddersfield went 1-0 up due to a Claudio Bravo mistake, let the ball right through his legs. City won the game 5-1. But yeah, it's those mistakes which, you know, could hurt City in the end.
I don't know what the problem is. He was a great goalkeeper at Barcelona.
Well,
obviously.
I mean, look at the defence which was in front of him at Barcelona.
Yeah, that is true.
I mean, you know, you could put freaking, I don't know, League 2 goalkeeper in that Barcelona side, and you know, you're still going to make him look decent. Yeah. Leicester also playing, good old Leicester, lost 2-1 to three-time Europa League champion Sevilla. And he got an away goal, which is vital. Because they're going to be heading back to England. You have your away goal, and if they perform like they did against Liverpool, you know, they may not have too many problems just grabbing a 1-0 win and advancing. So Sevilla may be in some trouble.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. Leicester is surprisingly doing very well in the Champions League, and I mean, being at home for the second leg is obviously
it's huge.
Positive.
Huge, as some would say.
Going back to Leicester, just real quick, that could be, you know, a point as to why they were doing so bad this season. You know, first time in the Champions League and not being used to it, maybe not having the personnel that could be a factor in the league position. Yeah,
of course. As for the Europa League, we saw Tottenham disappoint once again in Europe. As they tend to do. They already fell out of the Champions League this season. Played Genk, Belgium team in Europa League. First leg, they lost 1-0, but you know, it's Tottenham, we're feeling confident. And Dele Alli really made it hard for him, getting sent off with a horror challenge. And game finished 2-2, including an 82nd minute heartbreaker, which Genk scored, and Tottenham crashed out 3-2 on aggregate. And you know, you have to take notice that the other goal, it was an own goal by Harry Kane, of all people. So that's probably why he came out and scored a hat-trick this week.
Yeah, it's just weird, honestly, that, you know, they're almost smashing teams in the Premier League, and Harry Kane is scoring week after week, but, you know, then they go to Europe, and honestly, it might not be as hard of competition, but...
Do you think it's a depth problem?
Just doesn't translate. Do what?
Do you think it's a depth problem? You don't have enough players?
I don't think so for Tottenham. I mean, they have the resources, and they should have the personnel, and they have a high quality of player.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I think they're underperforming.
Yeah, we are. Last but not least, Manchester United advanced 4-0 on aggregate against Saint Etienne. Not the most interesting games. You know, it's pretty one-sided. Gave advance to rounds of 16 against Russian side FC Rostov, who, you know, you'd expect them to beat as well. So we'll see. Moving on, we're getting to the end. We have this week in history. So February 25th, so almost a week ago, 2001. Dwight York scored a first half hat-trick for Manchester United at Old Trafford in a game where Manchester United absolutely destroyed Arsenal 6-1. You know, we've already mentioned Arsenal getting beat 5-1 this past week, and we're talking about some game being 6-1. So unfortunately, yeah, I guess interesting piece of history right there. And last but not least, we have our week 27 predictions. We're going to do what I did with Andrew 2 weeks ago. Pick a game from Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And Andrew, you haven't even heard about this, but I'm thinking of getting the co-hosts to have like a little league, guessing, you know, predictions and scores and whatnot. So, you know, it'll make it a little bit more fun. But anyway, so Saturday we picked the Liverpool-Arsenal game. What do you pick, Andrew?
I, for whatever reason, was leaning for a 2-2 draw. It seems like neither side has much of a defense whatsoever.
Yeah.
But they do both have some attacking quality. But they're both kind of up and down in terms of performance, so I just kind of picked a neutral score.
Yeah. For myself, I almost went for a draw. I ended up picking Liverpool to pip Arsenal 2-1. And this isn't even a bias speaking, it won't even surprise me. I mean, Liverpool at home against a big side. They've been doing well against big teams so far this season. I'd say they want to bounce back after that Leicester defeat, but I mean, Liverpool don't even surprise me nowadays. They'll probably beat Arsenal this week and go on to lose to Burnley the week after. But yeah, Liverpool 2, Arsenal 1. Sunday, we have Tottenham, Everton. What you got, Andrew?
I have Tottenham 3, Everton 1. Just because Tottenham are such a hot side right now, and Harry Kane's on fire, obviously. Maybe Everton could prove me wrong. They're doing well.
Yeah.
So, but I just think Tottenham kind of they kind of overpower them at the moment.
Yeah. I went a little bit of a different direction, not completely. I'm going with Spurs 2, Everton 2. You know, it's always a fun time when Tottenham are playing at home at White Hart Lane. They haven't been defeated here, I believe, in a long, long time. But as you mentioned before, Tottenham are doing well. Ronald Koeman's Everton is very rarely going under the radar right now. They're being on a roll himself. And I don't think they'll beat Tottenham at home. But they'll put up a good fight and, you know, grab a couple of goals themselves, I think. And last but not least, Monday, West Ham and Chelsea, the only game of the day. What you got?
I have Chelsea 3, West Ham 0. I mean, Chelsea are ahead at the top by 10 points.
Yeah.
There's not much slowing them down right now. They're beating everybody. West Ham are obviously on the opposite side of that spectrum. They're not good at all. They haven't won a lot of games this season, so... They
haven't. I mean, they've improved recently. I'm taking a similar stance with you. I'm going to give West Ham a goal. It's going to be 3-1. It's going to be a typical dominant performance we see from Chelsea in this London derby. I think West Ham will pull one back to make it 2-1. And Chelsea will swiftly crush those dreams and game will finish 3-1. But yeah, that is it. So once again, guys, thank you for listening to this week's episode of EPL from LFK. You can find me on Twitter at EPL_from_LFK. Also go follow the Playmakers on Twitter and Instagram at PlaymakersKU, who do make all of this possible. And finally, if you're interested in getting involved, please contact me through Twitter or email at SeanGoodwin96@gmail.com. And thanks a lot and have a good one.